We will take another breather, and when we return, the discussions continue.
As the 2023 elections draw near, remember, evil prospers when good men and women only wish for peace, but never take a step to make peaceful elections happen. Are you a father? Are you a mother? What are you saying to your children as elections approach? Have you warned them not to let themselves be used to cause violence? Have you explained to them what the consequences of electoral violence might be? Do your part to make peaceful elections happen. Talk to your children. Protect them from unscrupulous politicians who want to put them in harm's way, while their own children are comfortable at home, within and outside the country. Let's join hands to make 2023 elections peaceful. This message is from the National Orientation Agency, NOAA.
Welcome back. If you're just joining us, this is Daybreak on Trust Television. And now talking economics. Yesterday, the Bureau of Statistics released the latest inflation figures, and the Consumer Price Index, which measures the rate of changes in price of goods and services, surged to 17.71% in May 2022, up from 16.82% in the previous month. The Bureau of Statistics said this in its report for 2022 released on Wednesday. The figure is 0.22 points lower than the 17.93% recorded in May 2021. With the development, it means that the headline inflation rate slowed down in May 2022 compared to the same month in the previous year. Financial analyst Mukhtar Mohammed joins us now via Skype from Lagos to help us make sense of some of these data that were released by the Bureau of Statistics. Good morning, Mukhtar, and it's a pleasure to have you join us this morning.
Good morning. Always a pleasure to be on Trust TV.
Thank you. Can you please help us, our viewers, break down the implications of yesterday's report? We know that on a month-on-month basis, it was an increase, even though on year-on-year, we saw a bit of slowing down with gas, fuel, and bread being the major pushers of that figure. What does this signpost for the average household?
Usually, when this discussion comes up, the first thing everybody says is it's not a Nigerian thing, it's a global issue, there's a war going on somewhere and it's affecting everybody and all that. But this is what we know. We know Nigeria. Whatever goes on elsewhere, that is what they know. But we know Nigeria. So isn't there anything we can do in terms of maybe a short-term policy or some short-term measures that we can actually take as a country that will be able to minimize these effects that we're actually facing right now because of this economic downturn?
Yeah, there's a lot, but I need to correct it. You know, the world is a global village now. What happened in one happened in the other. And then the strategy you use to address it has to be different. I totally agree with you. What are we going to do? Because when we mentioned the United Kingdom, I mentioned the United States, they are doing things in terms of reducing the burden on their people, especially in the area of tax. A petroleum tax is no more in the US. Most of US states have cuts. Have removed petroleum tax at the moment, so that will help in bringing down the cost of gas. And in the UK also, they are looking at other areas. Actually, most of these are always in the gas area, and so they are looking at other areas and seeing how they can even get into the reserve and pump this into their economy. Now, with Nigeria, we have a structural problem in the fact that we don't even know which household is the poor, is the middle class, or the extreme rich. That is a problem. And again, we also need to look at government is thinking of revenue because government have borrowed so much that even the revenue is not even enough. Yeah, the minister also saying that yesterday that they might even be borrowing to pay salary. I mean, the accountant general said they are even borrowing to pay salary. And the minister said they are beginning to have a payment challenge. I remember before we were saying it was a revenue challenge, but now we want both revenue and payment challenge. So when you look at this, is government ready to take a bite on some of these all their taxes, all their levy? But if you look currently at the predicament of government is not ready to take a bite because government is looking at, look, we need to pay our debt, we need to build infrastructure. Rather, what we're seeing that government is trying to look onto other areas to even tax Nigeria and the more. Remember, of recent, we came up with a national health scheme that says that people will have to pay a particular amount for every call you make with GSM. So it's all boiled down to government taking a bite on their revenue and saying, look, for now, we are going to do this, we are going to reduce revenue, we are going to reduce our taxes in this area so that it will have a snowball effect. We are going to see how we can reduce levies on transportation. We are going to see how much we can do to reduce the challenge that we have in the area of diesel, which is the one area that is skyrocketing, and where we need to understand that we might get to as high as 1,500 within the next 2 weeks. So government need to look at that because that's an area that affects a lot of industry with the poor power situation we have in the land. So I think it's boiled down to government beginning to look at how they can take a bite on their revenue.
Mukhtar, I listen to you and I hear government need to do this and government need to do this and government need to do the other thing. And I'm afraid, going by what is happening in our political landscape in the last 4 to 6 weeks, or if you like, over 2 months since that presidential comment, everywhere had been let loose. All our political actors are interested in what happens in 2023. We seem to have taken our eyes off the pedal as far as galvanizing economic activities to respond to both local and international headwinds. How much of a trouble are we in? Doesn't it appear to you that we have completely lost track as far as doing the things we need to do to put back this economy on track?
I totally agree with you, and that has been the challenge, and that's what I'm talking about, structural problem, because we make the minister the almighty. The minister will be the one to make decisions, and the PAMSEC do not have this position to begin to make the decision. For me, that's a major challenge. Rather, government is not supposed to take the backseat. We have the PAMSEC, we have also the directors, but when the politicians are at the head and every box stops on their table, that is why we have the challenge here. So it's still structural problems. And so we need to address that structural problem. And how do we address that structural problem? Is beginning to make sure that PAMSEC also have a role to play in every department and parastatal, because government is the biggest spend. It's the biggest spender in any economy. And so once government is not spending, then the economy is going to suffer. So I totally agree with you. But how do we go about this? Unfortunately, as it stands now, just like you say, governments are taking the backseat, and that's why I say that the CBN is beginning to do everything. The CBN has become the monetary policy. The CBN is doing the fiscal policy. The CBN is trying to address what the executive should be doing. So it's a big challenge, and and this is something that I think the legislation, or we need to do something about it, whereby once we get into the political year, governance take a backseat. Even if the current president is even going to end his tenure, there seems to be a lot of political around him. Not
Okay, we seem to be having. Okay, can you hear me, Mukhtar?
I can hear you clearly.
Your thoughts before I take the next question, yeah?
Yeah, like I said, it's all about governance, doing what they have to do and making sure that the PAMSECs and the DGs are doing all they have to do to make sure that the economy is moving.
Just a quick one, and that is tying back to the question that Ibrahim asked a little earlier. So we cannot continue like this, obviously. I would like you to give us what you think are the low-hanging fruits to at least check some of these exacerbations. Today you wake up, cooking gas is 4,000. Tomorrow you wake up, it's 10,000. The day after, it is hitting the 12,000 mark. And then you look back, they tell you we are spending 4 trillion naira on subsidy. We have done over 2 trillion or about 2 trillion already. And we are still finding it difficult to find the fuels on the streets of Abuja. And the NNPC has not contributed a dime, a single forest to Federal Account Allocation Committee since January.
It's a big challenge, like you said. Let me give you this. The challenge we have is the FX challenge that we have, because most of these products that are household product, daily product for Nigerians are products that are imported into this country, and we are having the FX challenge. So it's a problem of that we have. We don't have enough to import, because again, like you said, all what we should be making in revenue is being turned back into payment of subsidy, which cannot be substantiated. And then look at it, one of these products that are suffering from this high price, like you talked about, cooking gas, these are not sectors that are being subsidized by governance. Government is not subsidizing any of those sectors. So most of them have to source for FX themselves and sourcing at the parallel market for as high as 600 to 610 naira. So you could see those effects being pointed down to the consumer. Remember, Nigeria is a consuming nation. And when it comes to the subsidy is a monster that no administration has summoned the courage to fight it and make sure we come to an end. It's doing us no good. I keep saying it's subsidy only enrich the rich, make the rich richer by the day, and make the poor poorer by the day. So we need to do something. And again, like I said, government, if you want to address this issue, like you said, now government need to take a bite on the revenue. Remember that even in the gas issue that we're talking, diesel and cocoa gas, we may need to understand that by the time this program comes into this country, we will have it about maybe 150. I mean, petroleum product about 159 naira. But by the time you have to take government revenue, government charges, this and that, then it goes as high as 193 naira. How can government take a bite so that this price can come down, and then Nigerians will be able to benefit from the same thing with the cooking gas? So we need to do something about it. And I tell you, for the first time, I say it authoritative, the buck stop on the table of the government. They need to take a bite on their revenue. We need to begin to know how to address our FX problem. Unfortunately, it's not a problem that can be addressed in the short term. So we need to look at long-term solution to our FX problem. But what we need to address, and we need to address it as soon as possible, do we continue this subsidy monster?
All right, well, definitely something needs to be done. Mukhtar Mohammed, thank you very much for those insights and giving us some very deep thinking thoughts right there when it comes to Nigeria's economy and the way we're heading. Thank you very much for coming on the show.
Thank you. Always a pleasure to be on Trust TV.
All right. Well, that is how we are going to wrap it up today on Daybreak on Trust TV. Join us again tomorrow as we swing your way right here. I am Ibrahim Yusuf.
Do have a lovely day ahead. I am Sunday Michael Oven.